Let's just see if this works. Oh, good. It's going to work from here. Yes, again, for those of you who don't know me, again, my name's Mike Prisco. Unfortunately, they decided to make me the chairman of this committee. No, not unfortunately. It's been a pleasure, an absolute pleasure. I've really enjoyed it.
Did you enjoy your summer?
But before I get into the presentation, I just wanted to make sure people understood why we have a FAC. And the biggest reason is right there. You see those two bullets that are in white. Our revenues don't cover the expenses that we continue to experience, and our expenses continue to rise. We all known that. We've all known it for a long time. Many of you here in this room were here during the budget cycle last year, that painful process. And based on that, I believe pushed the selectmen to put together this board of folks to try to explore some options for us. There may not be a lot of them out there that are good. There may not be a lot of them out there that's going to make everyone happy, but we have to explore them, and we have to take the opportunity to do it now. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight, and the progress that we're making. This is the charge Mr. Messeri had spoken about earlier that just got approved. I'm not going to read it, but I did want to make sure I highlighted the fact that, again, we're going to have a process. We're going to have an organized process, and we're going to present our findings to the Board of Selectmen, the School Committee, and the Finance Committee for their consideration. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. And this sort of summarizes that long paragraph that you were reading there. The committee was formed to focus on these areas: added efficiencies, new source of revenue, try to look at areas where we can try to reduce some expenses, cost controls, eliminate waste, and several more. The current membership is 10 citizens. Right now, I am the only one on the board that's actually been on a board prior to. So it's been great for me. It's been nice to have a fresh set of eyes and a voice that I'm not saying there's a lot of people in town that continue the ones volunteering over and over, but it does tend to happen. With this committee, it's been nice. It's been very nice to have a fresh voice, and so you'll see some of that tonight. I'm not going to be the only one presenting tonight. Some of my colleagues are going to jump up here and assist me as well. We also have liaisons from the Finance Committee, the School Committee, and the Board of Selectmen. There's the names. Those are the guilty people that you want to make sure you write those names down. This is just a summary of the process for this evening, just to make sure everyone understands we have an organized process in place. And I have a slide that addresses each one of those bullets, and I'm going to go through those now. Idea generation. We spent a lot of time in the beginning, right around the June, July time frame in the summer. It was difficult to do it, but we did it. We were able to spend a little time this summer focusing on the ideas, and we generated a lot of ideas, well over 150 of them. And they focused on the revenue area, the expense reduction. We looked at things that we could implement short term. We looked at things we can implement long term. We'll talk a little bit about some of those this evening as well. We looked at the ones that have a minimal impact, and we try to highlight the ones that have a greater impact. I apologize, that damn software. It'll just take a minute. Right, Bob?
It goes away.
Okay. I'm going to keep talking. We also had a lot of duplicates, and we try to get some feedback from the community as well, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that this evening. I would flip the slide, but it's taking a few minutes.
Do you have internet connectivity here? If not, you better
Yeah.
connect. You do, okay.
Yeah. It's all done. I apologize for the delay. I just don't trust this town network, see, that's why I have to have it. So anyway. There it is. I will definitely get to that. Okay. After we collected the ideas, we spent the time vetting through them, having lots of discussion. We removed the ones that were unreasonable, like Mr. Peroni came up with the idea of going to Swamp Pond and putting the casino up there. He really didn't think it was a really good idea.
Don't rule that out yet.
Well, they didn't want to put a high school there, so he figured the casino. Sorry, Mario, I know we voted that down. But in the end, we did develop about 60 ideas, which were researched. A committee, if you see 13 people, 60 ideas, and there's a lot of work to be done. So we're getting through it slowly. I wish we were going faster, but we're gonna do what we can. We all have day jobs, which seem to always get in the way. But we've assigned a committee member to each one of the ideas. And tonight, some of those committee members will be presenting to you. So here's the status of what, through the process and where we're at. Our idea generation, I shouldn't say complete, but it's complete to date. We're always looking for ideas. And I hope after tonight, and the people that are watching at home will reach out to us. They can contact me directly. They can contact the board and forward their ideas to you, and then you can forward them on to us. But we want to continue to get those ideas because we don't have them all. We've taken a lot of the ideas and we've had a lot of overlap and duplication, so we've combined all those, and that's all done. The research is still ongoing. It's an in process. It's in process, and we'll continue to do that until we submit them to you in an organized format for your consideration. Documenting we're going to talk about that. I'm going to show you what we're doing, how we're going to document and present it to you in the finance committee and the school committee as well. And then decision making and the referral to the board. The ideas research. The ideas research and the resources that we're using, we're trying to use the people right here that work in it. We're trying to reach out. We'd like to reach out a lot more to all the departments. We'd like all the employees in town to feel free to communicate with us, to try to give us their input, because they probably have better ideas than any of us do, because they're so close to it. We've been talking to other towns. We've been spending a lot of time trying to reach out to some of the other towns. We're going to hear about some of that tonight. We're also, the web continues to be a great source of information. We took the benchmark study. I know there was a lot of controversy over the benchmark study, but we're using it. I think in the school numbers, I think the numbers are good in the benchmark study, and we're using that. We're going to talk a little bit about that tonight. And in the benchmark study, where there was some conflict, we're going to try to resolve some of those conflicts. Hopefully we can over the next few months. We would like to try to do that. But we're going to need the help of everybody in town to help us address those. We obtained a lot of labor contracts, and we've obtained labor contracts in other towns, and we're reviewing them. And we're going through that, and you may see some of that tonight. We're checking with other towns as well, because they're going through the same things we are. A lot of the pains we're suffering, we're not alone. Everybody knows that. You can watch the news every night. So the research is ongoing. This slide I threw in, I really wanted to set the expectations of what this committee believes. I think this is very important for the Board of Selectmen to understand this, the school committee to understand it, all the departments to understand it. I remember back in June, Mr. Valtonis, when you met with your department heads, when this first happened, you told them all this committee was being formed and why. I think that was a wonderful thing you did. I think it's great, and I hope that everybody does the same thing. I think everyone in town, including the residents, it's nice to see some here tonight, and I hope the ones at home understand we're in this together. It's a true partnership. And if we don't come together with finding resolution to our budgets and how we can continue to control our expenses so we can operate and use the services that we use today and enjoy them, like our schools and our fire and our police and so on, that we will fail, but we're going to fail together. And that's going to be a sad thing. So this is such an important bullet. I want to make sure everyone understands. Okay, so we need you to help us. We're only 12, 13 people. We don't have all the answers. So we need the help from the public, from the employees in town, from the other boards and committees. We need your help to help us verify the data we're generating and that we're going to present is good data. We're making good decisions with it. So it goes to the next bullet. We're going to come up with all the details, but we need to understand the devil in the details, because we may not. We're naive in some cases. When it comes to the police and fire, I'm not in that business. It's not my forte. And a lot of my committee members, we don't have the strong background in public safety. But we're trying to generate the information, and we need help vetting them. So we want to reach out to the fire and the police departments. We welcome them to help us understand the data, so no one gets upset in the process. But everyone has to be committed to make change. We can't go into the next year's budgets and the following budgets going forward with the same attitudes and the same drive that let the other guy give up something because I already gave at the door. We can't do that any longer. That's a recipe for disaster. Our intent is not to attack anyone, any department, or anybody's livelihood. I can't emphasize that enough. That is one of the biggest concerns in the FAC, and I'm speaking on behalf of all of them, because they all voice it. They know this is gonna be tough in some cases when we go through the difficult process of making decisions. Some of them, yeah, we're looking at benefits, we're looking at contracts, all that does affect livelihoods, but that's not what we're intended to do. That's not why we're in place to try to hurt people. We're trying to bring us back into reality. I like my children going to school 5 days a week. I think it's wonderful. This year, it's the best year so far. I love what's going on, and I want to see it continue. And I think there's a lot of parents here that feel the same way I do. But I'll let them speak for themselves when we get to that point. Okay, next few slides, just going to touch upon what we've been doing. In the area of efficiency and savings, we focus on employee benefits. We have to. Because when you go back and you look at the data and you compare our data or our benefits to other towns, it just sticks right out. To me, it's overwhelming. And we're going to talk about it tonight, and we're just going to scratch the surface tonight and then get back with all the other departments and explore this more. But again, this is an area we have to come to resolution. We have to get to a common sense decision on how we want to manage as a town and how we're going to handle our benefits. We're going to, in the medical benefits as well, it goes along with that. Retirement benefits. Maybe we can't affect what's already been done in the past with people that are already retired, but maybe we can affect going forward, something realistic that we can truly afford for this town. The labor contracts. I think there's a lot of issues with our labor contracts, but together, I think smart people can make some good decisions on how to handle it. I know it's tough to negotiate them. We understand. I've never been through it. So I welcome the people that have gone through this and help us through the process, because when we read them, when we go through them, these things just stick out to us. I read contracts every day in my business. I negotiate them every day. And things I read, I don't understand. I don't know why they're there. So hopefully the Board of Selectmen will reach out to you over the next several months to help us understand. So we think there's a lot of room for change, positive change, for both sides. Not only for the taxpayers in this town, but for the employees. And the use of overtime. We're gonna address that. I'm not gonna get a lot of it here. The other area was the increased revenues. Huge problem. Tonight is I think a great step in the right direction. I think the wastewater is a perfect step on where to go. I think for us, when we look at that increase in the commercial tax base, that is a big area for us. The wastewater is an important factor. Now do we have the capacity? Well, we gotta get there, because it's gonna be very difficult for us to attract companies that wanna come here without having that in place. So we welcome the wastewater to come and participate with us, to allow us to help them. There's people on my committee that are really strong in how to present things to the town, how to present things to the people. You know, I think it got a little overwhelming. I was at the last hearing, and I was overwhelmed. So I think we gotta find a better way to talk to our taxpayers, because I think we just take things at too high of a level. Maybe we need to make things a little easier on people to understand. The split tax rate, we're gonna get in that tonight. Fees. We need to look at fees across this whole town and understand why we have some and why we don't have them in other areas. Unpaid real estate taxes. Another area we're gonna explore. In the next several months, you're gonna see us get involved in that issue. It's an issue that shouldn't be an issue. Why is it? Why don't we have a process? And we're gonna, hopefully, we'll work with our CFO here in town to help them address it. I think our committee has some really good ideas in that area. We're not gonna address them tonight, but I wanted to bring them up so you know we think we can help you in that area. I talked earlier about documenting the ideas. This is just an example, and I know it's very compact, but we have a format that we approved. It's a standard format that we're using on every one of our ideas. You can see up here we have the idea identified number, the idea name, who's working it, and the process, the status that it's in through the process. Whether it's in process, whether it's been accepted by the committee or rejected, the type of idea it was, and then there's a lot of information that gets put together. This turns out to be a 3, maybe 4-page document with a recommendation at the end. So when we hand something over to you or over to the school committee or the finance committee, it's truly going to have all the details there and a recommendation. And then hopefully we'll leave you with enough information to make a decision. And then the decisions, obviously, when we get there as a committee, we vote them out. We vote it in majority rules. 2/3 votes, excuse me. Let's see. And then the referral. Once we vote on this committee,